Hello and welcome to another edition of Classroom Chronicle. I'm your host, Pete Braley. We are on the road, on location today. We're here at Greater New Bedford Regional Vocational Technical High School, and specifically the Collision Department. And it's a special day here today, and let me introduce our guests. We have Ken Loranger and also Ryan Sarsfield. They are from MAPFRE Insurance. Did I say it right?
You said it correct.
Okay, MAPFRE Insurance. Now, Ken, tell me about this. Is this something you do often at schools around the state?
Yes, as of right now, we are involved with three vocational schools. This one here at New Bedford Vocational. The next one is in Charlton, Mass., which is Bay Path Regional. And then there's another one at Fitchburg, which is Montechusett Technical High School. We're working with another one, the fourth one, which would be it's Greater Lawrence Vocational.
Okay. And what are we doing here today? I know you brought two cars. It was nice of you to tow those here this morning.
So. Yeah, we did. So MAPFRE has collaborated with these three other schools as of right now. We give them two vehicles to use at their discretion at the beginning of the school year. So we'll send the teachers a bunch of different vehicles that are been totaled out in accidents. They'll pick the vehicles they like. We will have them brought to the school. We'll have them towed down. And then at that time, the collision department can use them for a training aspects as far as putting them on a frame machine, teaching the students how to use and how to tie down a vehicle. If there's any frame, how to use a frame machine and how to pull it back to specs. Along with damaged parts, they can use it for repairing vehicles, repairing parts, removing parts, doing some electrical, some suspension removal if need be. So we do that. Then at the end of the school year, we will end up picking up those vehicles and bringing them back to the total loss area is what we'll do. So we've been involved with that right now, but we've brought it to another level with a bunch of different things. Along with just the vehicles, we have now I've reached out to different vendors to try to bring some other awareness to the students that there's other opportunities in the collision department. And with that being said, right now we brought them to insurance auto auction. There's three of them in Massachusetts, one in East Taunton. The other one is in,
they're located in Shirley, Massachusetts, and also Templeton, Massachusetts.
Okay.
So with the different schools, if they're closer to either facility, we'll bring them on a field trip, and we'll show them the life cycle, if you wish, of an automobile, from it being bought to it being into an accident at the car pool or insurance auto auction. It's a salvage company, and then the car could be salvaged from there, meaning either a junkyard will pick up the vehicle and use it for parts, or it'll be sold for another in another company. They'll buy it and they'll probably just repair it and drive it.
Right.
Okay, and then we've also gotten Safe Light Auto Glass that has come down to all three schools and showed the students the proper way of removing glass, replacing glass, and also the opportunity of doing co-op with the students at all these locations, IAA, Safe Light Glass, and possibility of even having the opportunity of having a different career in the glass replacement business.
Okay.
What's here today at New Bedford Vocational is the state police. It's the reconstruction department for accident reconstruction. And what we're doing is trying to show the students classroom settings. It's a bunch of physics that's involved with trying to grab the data on how an accident happened, what caused the accident, and then now they're get the students involved with removing the computers to pull the data, and then they're showing the students the data, how fast the vehicle was going, if there was braking involved, if there was acceleration, and they're doing that. We're working on one last vendor, which is called the Dent Wizard. We're waiting on them to confirm and hopefully come out. It's paintless dent removal. So a lot of hail damaged vehicles, that's the way that they're repaired, is without any paint, and it's repaired by the inside out. We're waiting on an answer, and if that is the case, there's going to be a classroom setting with that. A lot of hands-on. We're going to bring out 3 hoods. The Dent Wizard technician will do a bunch of damage, and then let the students try to do some repairs on it.
Great.
So we've been collaborating with the schools, and we're working on a 4th school. We've been doing it for a little while now.
Super.
So.
Ryan, let me ask you, what is your hope for what the kids get out of this? And do they have a lot of questions? as to what goes on?
The students are very interactive with the vendors that we bring out to the schools, so it's very promising. We really want to show these students that there's a very vast range of options for them when they get out of their schooling here at the vocational schools, whether they choose to go directly into the auto body trade, if they choose to go into the glass business, if they choose to go potentially work for one of the vendors such as IAA, whether it be something as a loader operator moving the vehicles around the salvage yard, handling the auction, working in the customer service level, with the customers that are buying the vehicles, selling the vehicles, etc. Something in line of the Mass State Police. There's a lot of physics involved. If people are number people and want to deal with how fast the vehicle is going, pulling the computer data. There's just a vast range of options that they can go. But the collision industry, a good foundation is formed, at the trade school level, and they're very pleased to be working on the vehicles that we bring to the schools for them, because they're late model, newer vehicles. So fortunately, living in New England, the newer vehicles, a lot of the stuff isn't rusted together, so it comes apart, goes back together fairly easy. In these programs, it's not often that they have a vehicle that's left here for the whole school year, like we're able to do with these vehicles. So they're able to kind of work on it throughout the school year instead of the normal kind of bumper job that gets dropped off that the customer needs, bumper replacement where they have it here for a week and then the car is gone. These are much heavier hits, things that they're able to use their frame machine on, measuring systems, what have you.
Right. It's come a long way, right, from what it used to be as far as, collisions and repairs. We didn't have these computer issues.
No, we didn't. Back in the 80s and 70s, there wasn't any of this safety, collision avoidance and warning systems. And today, it's a lot of electronics that is involved with the vehicles.
And as you were saying that, a lot of these kids can turn these, do I want to say internships into jobs, right?
Oh, definitely they can, and that's what we're trying to show, the opportunity. With that being said, also, we're involved with a lot of the body shops in the surrounding areas with a lot of these different schools trying to have the students they're involved with co-op. And right now, I think there's 7 seniors that are actually in co-op. So they're actually working at a body shop in this field, so which is really good.
All right. Well, I can't thank MAPFRE enough for doing this. I hear a presentation just wrapping up.
Yes,
So I think it's great that you give the kids this opportunity for some hands-on.
That's what we're doing, and and I'm glad that you folks were here to actually see what is taking place at the collision department at these vocational schools.
It always amazes me when I get to spend time in the classroom to see, number one, what the kids are experiencing, but really the educators too, and how they're really, they're not just here to, this is their job, I'm going to teach you this curriculum and move on. They're really involved with the kids and they want them to learn.
It's hands-on, and the students here really appreciate what we're doing, and I can see I'm here quite often, along with what the teachers are doing, and we know it. We can see it out in the field that it's working.
All right.
So which is really good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
We're here with the Massachusetts State Police. Sergeant D'Amico and I work for the Collision Analysis and Reconstruction Section. So my name is Detective Lieutenant Rick Wilansky. I run the unit. It's a statewide section that's assigned, that's all we do is we just do collision analysis. We have 22 troopers, 4 sergeants, a lieutenant, and myself. With me here is Sergeant Brian D'Amico. He runs the team down this way that does all the crashes in this area. We split the Massachusetts State Police up in troops, so this is D troop for us. We come down, Sergeant D'Amico runs the team that does all the crashes down this way. Usually the ones that are involved fatal injuries. So pretty serious work, but we do enjoy it. If you had to choose these 2 cars, which would you rather be in when you crash? Most people, because they think of older cars as being these big tough things made of steel and indestructible, think that they're going to win out in these kind of crashes. The first perspective is going to be from the Bel Air. Watch the dummy inside. You think he's doing well today? Probably not. What does he not have when the car crashes? He doesn't have a seatbelt. What else? Airbags. He doesn't have airbags. They also have a different construction, right? I mean, if you look at cars nowadays, I mean, we'll take a look at this one behind Sergeant D'Amico here. This is a front-end collision, right? I mean, you can see, like, this is where, right, you guys have a frame, something to bend these frames back, like a frame machine. What do you call those? Frame machine, yeah. Right, so, I mean, obviously you got pretty significant damage there, so it was a pretty good hit. But when you took those panels off, what did they look like? What's that? Crushed. Yeah, they were pretty crushed. They fall apart, they fall off. That's deliberate. They make that so they can absorb some of that impact. So that's a newer car. The old cars were stiff. Everything was built like this, and that's not good for the people inside, and I'm going to tell you exactly why.
Rick Wolanski is with us now. He is the detective lieutenant. Rick Wolanski, I want to get that right. Thank you for coming down here. Is this something you do often, going around the schools?
This is something we just began with the technical schools in the area. We've already been to Bay Path and we've been to Monty Tech up in Fitchburg. And yeah, it's just something we started with the auto body shops, and we do it through MAPFRE.
So what is it that you're doing with the kids here today?
So I wanted to give them an idea of what we do in collision analysis. In my specific unit, we investigate fatal and serious injury crashes and reconstruct them, try to determine exactly what happened. And I wanted to give the kids an idea in the auto body world what they're actually looking at in terms of their crashes and what is going on with the physics behind it and some of the data that we get off the vehicles as well.
And I noticed in one of the presentations, it was either you or your partner who's here, mentioned that, you know, when you think state police, you think the trooper on the highway is going to pull you over for speeding. This is a whole different department, right?
Yes, this is a dedicated unit to just collision analysis. So I have, in my unit, it's a statewide unit. We have 22 troopers right now, split up into 4 different teams. Each team is run by a sergeant, and then I have an executive officer who's a lieutenant, a commissioned officer.
I didn't realize until today that the car has what we consider the black box on airplanes, right? That's what you look at for details?
Yes, it's a little different. A black box in the airplane is constantly recording. It's it does a voice recording. It monitors all the airplane systems and will record all of that data continuously. With an airbag control module, its only job is to monitor the vehicle systems and determine if it needs to be deployed in order to keep the occupants safe. So the airbags control module will monitor what's going on with the car, and as soon as it realizes that something needs to be done, it will not only deploy but lock that data so we can read that data. So all it's telling me is what's the vehicle doing around what is being monitored for safety.
Okay.
So very limited, but we get 5 seconds of pre-crash data, and then we'll get the crash pulse as well.
What kind of questions do the kids have for you at these events?
They had great questions, actually. Today they were asking about how motorcycles work, if there were crashes that didn't have the kind of damage that we'd see with 2 cars hitting each other, you know, what kind of crashes we investigate, some other wider questions about the state police and other units that the state police has, and other investigations and things that we do. So.
I would assume this is an eye-opener to them, that this is another avenue, a different career path they could take.
Yeah, in fact, something I didn't realize until I was in the state police, something that kind of came up on me, and I joined the collision analysis unit 12 years ago, 2012, so 13 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, until it came up, it wasn't anything that occurred to me, and
so
here I am.
Were you a trooper first?
Yes.
On the highways and such before you get into the collision program?
Yes. Anybody who joins a unit in the state police begins by going through the academy for 6 months, and then when they get out, they're assigned to field services. They're a road trooper, and they do the you know, what you would think of what a trooper does. They're stopping cars, they're issuing tickets, helping out people who have broken their car down, investigating minor crashes, responding to calls, things like that. And then once you've been doing that for a few years, you can then think about other units. So you could join the air wing, get taught how to fly helicopters. You could, if you like dogs, you could do the canine unit. If you like what I do, you could do collision analysis. We have a Marine unit, dive team, what the equivalent of SWAT,
Right.
negotiators, all kinds of things.
Super. Well, thanks. It was great to see you, and great job with the kids today.
Thanks. I appreciate the time. Thanks for having me.
You'll see right along where the shifter is, up under a little bit underneath the dash, there are these boxes, and there's yellow plugs into them. I think they're yellow, usually yellow. This one's got a green one too, but there are yellow plugs that go into it. These these control modules look an awful lot like this. All right, and this is mounted usually close to the center of mass, and it plugs in here. They're all different. Every vehicle manufacturer makes a different one, because why make it easier on us? That's why we have this giant bag of cables to plug into all these. They mount this in the center, and we can access that. That holds all the data. Once a crash happens, this is locked, and it can't be overwritten.
The data stored on the actual device, it doesn't like give you a PDF. There's no real data to get. What's on the device is what's called hexadecimal data. But essentially the program takes that hexadecimal data and it puts it on a form and says, oh, okay, if I have this data point and it reads this, then that means he's going, that's the speed that we're going to put there, or, you know, brake system on, seatbelt on, off. And that's what it's doing. So it reads it 3 times to make sure it gets the same data 3 times. If it does, then it populates the information.
Tim DeMedeiros is the lead collision teacher here at Greater New Bedford Voc Tech, and what is today like for you? Is this a nice thing to have the kids learn something, hear from a different voice, maybe?
Yes, yes, except for mine. Yes, definitely. Yeah, having these demonstrations come in for the students are great. The school allows it. The school helps us out. We have programs out there that are helping us out a lot. And the kids love it because they learn something totally different.
Right. Different how? How does this differ from your regular Monday through Friday?
Well, our regular Monday through Friday, we have a lot of lesson plans that we go through. We put all the curriculum into the cars. But with someone like the state police coming in, this is a technology that we don't have here.
Okay.
This is something that the students can actually see, ask questions about, and even wonder if it's something that they want to follow up and become a state cop and get into the forensics of it all.
Right.
Students don't realize the safety versions of the vehicle as much when you're here telling them, opposed to someone like the state police come in and they show them everything on graphs. They show them everything from the black box of the car. It's a totally different experience for them. They had a lot of questions this morning, but for some reason they started to quiet down a lot when they were in there. But they really did enjoy it.
So you get these cars at the beginning of the year, is it?
Well, the 2 cars come from a lending program. Ken Laranja, who works for MAPFRE, and his bosses, they got a program where they got in touch with me. I've known Ken I've owned a shop for over 20-something years, and I know Ken from doing business with him. Mm-hmm. And Ken got in touch with me, and he asked me this would be a good idea, and I agreed with him. And then Ken basically does all the footwork on the outside. He takes care of getting in touch with everybody. He takes care of following up with the administrators, the school, myself. I try to do the best I can to help him out on the school side. He takes care of everything on the business side. Then what happens is they get us 2 vehicles. They'll send me like 6 to pick from, mm-hmm. and I'll pick some vehicles that are hit in a certain way that we're actually instructing the students.
Right.
So with that being said, once the vehicle comes in, we have basically carte blanche to whatever we want to do to them. Except for repairing the panel. Like, the insurance company's not about to give us panels to replace. We are working on that. But it is great for the students to be able to see a new vehicle damaged that bad, and then we can have them frame straighten it, measure it with the new measuring machine we have, because we have a lot of new equipment here in the shop. So the students are allowed to work on that. We can control that a lot better than we can control live work coming in, which means customers from the outside. Sometimes you won't get a car hit like that, where we could do that extensive work with the students. So as long as we can expose them to as much as possible in the short amount of time we have in 4 years with them, it's the best thing to get them out there and start doing the work. At least they're exposed to everything.
And who did we have here today? You said juniors and seniors?
We had the juniors and seniors, yes. We work on 2 different sides of the cycle. So basically we'll have freshmen and sophomore, and then we'll have juniors and seniors. The freshmen do exploratory for almost, as we spoke earlier, they'll do almost about a half a year of exploratory almost. And if not, maybe a little more, 15 cycles. And then what they'll do is they'll come in, they'll learn the business side of a small business portion of it, which is the detailing. We will work with them on safety. That's a very big thing with the school.
Right.
OSHA, things like that. And then we'll also have the sophomores doing all their main projects. Once they do all their projects, they get all the basics from that from Mr. Lorenko. And Mr. Lorenko will teach them everything they need to know to get to the next level, which will be all the live work coming in, which come in through work requests to the school.
Super. All right. Well, now is it hard for you to rein them back in after they've had a little different type of day?
Well, no, they're getting excited right now because lunch is in about 15 minutes.
All right. There you go.
So they'll get ready to go to lunch. They'll come back from lunch. We'll ring them back in a little bit. Some of them will be tired because they've been sitting in the morning listening.
Right.
So, but we'll get them moving again. These kids are a great group of kids. All the collision kids are really. And we don't really have too many issues at all with our students working and
Great.
getting them back to work. And we do have work that needs to get done, so they will be coming back
All right.
and working.
Thanks for taking time for us.
Thank you for coming down and
right.
being with us.
Sergeant D'Amico kind of explained it a little about how it takes the hexadecimal data and dumps it into a template. This is the template, right? This is our pre-crash data. So it goes back 5 seconds. It gives it to me in, that's all right. It gives it to me in 1/10 of a second, which is 100 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds intervals. And it tells me vehicle speed. What were our guesses? I said 42 to 50. Look at that, very consistent. 65, 65. And then 0 right there at -0.1, that's what we call algorithm. 0 is what we call algorithm enabled. So it's not precisely when the crash happened, it's when the airbag said, oh, something's going on, now we got to start working. It's usually within milliseconds, but it's not exactly. So right there, he's going 9. So what do you think happens to get him to go from 65 to 9 in 5 seconds? Crash, well, this is right before the crash. Brakes, let's see. What do we got? ABS, no. Oh, yes, there's some ABS. Service brake, off, on, right here. Right around 49. Think he's pretty hard on the brakes right there? Yeah, maybe a little bit of a, uh-oh.
And we have 3 juniors with us right now that took part in the presentation. First up, we have Jason Zalea. And Jason, tell me, what did you get out of today?
So I thought it was pretty interesting since in collision we really work on the body work, like on the outside of the car. So I didn't realize there was so much more inside the car during crashes that we didn't even know.
Right.
Like all the analytics and all the stuff about the car. So
What's your favorite part of this class so far?
I'd say when we were looking at the graph of all the stuff of the car, that was pretty interesting because I didn't know you could calculate the steering, the brakes, all that stuff. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
So it gives you information as to what happened with the crash?
Yeah, so it's easier. I don't know it's how in depth it is to investigate a car crash.
Right. Arbor Lee, what about you? What did you discover something new today?
Yeah, I did. I learned just all the inner works of car crashes and stuff like that. Like Jason said, I really enjoyed looking at the graphs and being able to see in depth of what happens in a crash and just how it all goes.
What attracts you to the collision program here? Why did you get involved?
I know my father did it when he came here in high school, and I really look up to him a lot. So
Okay.
I kind of wanted to follow through his path, and I really ended up enjoying the shop.
Is this where you want to go with your life
Yes,
after school?
I do want to pursue this career when I graduate high school.
Okay.
I have something to say about that.
You feel the same?
No, why I chose the shop.
Oh, why?
So I have an uncle in El Salvador, and he does collision work, but their equipment is so much different. So when I go visit them, I always see how the contrast of what we have.
Wow.
So I used to help him out in El Salvador. So when I came here, I like painting, so I thought it would be pretty good for me to be here.
Okay.
And after high school, I wanted to go to an automotive, training place to learn automotive and collision.
Okay.
To be dual experienced.
Right.
So, yeah.
Great. So it comes in handy. And Jameson, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on what you saw today?
It was really interesting. So we don't really get opportunities like this to see what happens like in like out of school. We just like mostly focus on like the body work. So like as Jason and Aubrey were saying, we got to see all like the information they could get out of a tiny box.
Right.
So yeah.
It's almost like the black box of an airplane, right? That we hear about on the news and things. Is this another extension of collision repair that you might want to look into more?
I mean, yeah, I've always liked like how like police are. I like the science of like CSI and forensic sciences.
It's like a mystery,
Yes.
right? I mean, here's this car. How did it happen?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Not only how do I fix it, but you gain knowledge by how it happened, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What attracted you to take this shop?
My grandfather, he came here when the school was like first like being built. So he's like talked about it to me a lot, and I look up to him a lot. So.
Right. And do you see yourself going into this
Yes.
for a career?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially the painting side. Like when you paint the car, I like that.
Yeah. Everybody seems to like that part, huh? The painting side. But this was nice today to
Yes, it
get
was
another.
nice.
And did you realize that the state police did all that?
Not really. I thought they just like go out and arrest people.
Pull you over, right? Yeah. All right. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I figured out the problem. There's no hood. That's the first problem, right? Our thanks once again to everybody from MAPFRE Insurance and also the Massachusetts State Police and Tim DeMedeiros, who is the head teacher in the collision department here at Greater New Bedford Voc Tech. It was a great day today for the kids, and I learned a few things myself. If you have an idea for a future Classroom Chronicle, some class we should visit or a teacher we should talk to, please let me know. You can email me here at the station or also reach out to me on Facebook. Until next time, I'm Pete Braley for Classroom Chronicle. Take care.
Did you know that you can watch any of New Bedford Cable Network shows anytime, anywhere on all of your mobile devices? How, you may ask? Just log on to nbcablenetwork.com and bam! You have all 3 channels at your fingertips: public, educational, and government access. Here, you can view our program schedules, watch our channel's live broadcasts, or search for a particular program in our vast library of shows. Last year alone, New Bedford Cable Network produced over 500 shows, and nearly all of them are available online at nbcablenetwork.com. Not only can you stay up to date with what's happening in your local government and schools, but also dive into some of New Bedford Cable Network's original award-winning programs. So check us out at nbcablenetwork.com.